Athletes, welcome back to another great day of fitness. We've got our games replica workouts for you with Helen coming your way. We got Shane and we got Clara. We got some dumbbell snatches, some running, and bent over rowing to replicate that games workout for you wherever you are at. So get ready, the warm-up's coming up next. Athletes, your warm-up is here. We've got 10 seconds on the clock. We are starting with heel toe rocks. So all you need is some floor space. We're gonna go up onto those toes and back into those heels in 3, 2, 1, go for it. Right now we are warming up for the run, so I just want you to try to get to full extension and then pick those toes up as high as you can. We wanna get our lower body warmed up and then we can get into this workout safely, so we're gonna avoid injury. The next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna go into bunny hops. So in place, what we're gonna do is that you're gonna act like you're doing single unders without the rope. So go ahead and just start giving me some hops here. You can do variations of how high you go, how low you go. You can try to speed it up, slow it down. But again, we're just getting those calves, ankles, and feet warmed up. The next thing that we have is we're gonna hop down onto the floor into a cat-cow position. So for our cat, you're gonna arch your back up towards the ceiling, dropping your chin to your chest. And then for your cow, you're gonna drop your chest to the floor and try to look up towards the ceiling. I want you guys to go back and forth between these two positions here, specifically focusing on trying to round that back out as much as possible. We're still just getting our bodies warmed up, and this is a fantastic piece to do, especially since we've got those dumbbell snatches going through, which is an entire body movement. We want to make sure your entire body is ready for the workout we got coming its way. Next, we're gonna go ahead and stand back up. We're gonna take those hands and put them on our quads, and I want you to start to slide your hands down your legs, keeping those legs straight but not locked out. So there can be a slight bend there, but we are working on getting our glutes and hamstrings activated. Again, going into those dumbbell snatches that we have coming your way, or if you are going into your X jumps. Next, we are gonna go ahead and stay here, and we're gonna get into our bent position, and we're gonna do a row and reach. So we're gonna cross those arms over, and then we're gonna pull back, focusing specifically on squeezing those shoulder blades together. So I know that this may feel a little silly because we don't have any weight, but if you focus on the muscles that you're trying to activate, you're really gonna feel that in your back, and you can get a decent warm up with no weight. We just gotta put our mind where that muscle is and get that connection going. We're gonna go ahead and stand back up, go back into our heel toe rocks, and now I want you to increase the intensity about 10 to 15%. So we're starting to look at getting our heart rate up. We got a bonus round at the end of this that you don't know what's coming your way. The athletes don't either, but we're gonna get there. Next one, we're gonna go into our bunny hops again. So for our bunny hops, now we're hopping bunnies. We're gonna go double unders with no rope. So I want you to get a little bit higher here. Shane is made of springs, so this is an easy thing for him. Clara's saving herself for the workout, which is smart. Go ahead and relax. We're gonna go into our cat-cow position again. So with our cat-cow position, it's gonna arch up towards the ceiling and then drop down towards the floor. When you arch up into that position, think about activating your glutes a little bit, and you're gonna feel that in your low back as well. We're gonna go 2 more oscillations, 1 more oscillation, and then you're gonna stand up. We're going back into our RDLs again. RDLs here, we're gonna go that double leg. If you wanna change it up and go single leg like Shane is about to do, you can go single leg. You wanna make sure that back stays straight as we go through. It's not a movement that you rush through, but you should feel good activation in that posterior chain as we do these. Next one, we're gonna go back into our bent row and reach. So our bent row and reach, send those hips back and then reach as far as you can. Think about hugging a telephone pole. And then you're gonna pull back with those elbows and get those shoulder blades squeezed together. We're gonna go 3 more of these. This is gonna help us with those bent over rows that we have on our crush grip or with our band. And then after that, this is our bonus round. We're going into burpees because burpees are a fantastic warm-up piece. I want you guys to go ahead and go down to the floor. We're gonna come back up and jump for me. I want 1 more. And now what's gonna happen is we got 15 seconds max rep. So go ahead and let's get into it. And we've got, this is not funny. You may hear laughter in the background, but we take our fitness very serious. And burpees are one of the best movements that you can use. And if you're looking at me like I'm crazy, Stephanie, if you're watching this right now, I know you hate burpees, but they're good for you, just like your vegetables, and it's gonna make us do great on this workout. We got 3, 2, 1, and rest. That is it. The warm-up is over. There's no more surprise burpees. I promise that's all that I brought with me today. You got your workout coming up next, so I need you to go ahead, turn your cell phone on silent, grab your water, do whatever you need to, get your mind right, because the fitness is coming up next. Athletes, Helen has arrived. We've got 10 seconds on the clock. Go ahead and make your way to your runner or the implement that you're using. We are going in 3, 2, 1, go. You got a 400-meter run right now, which if you don't have a runner at your place, you can go a minute out and a minute back. We are looking at roughly a 2-minute work period. If you guys are using a bike or any other type of machine, a rower, a skier, whatever you've got available, it is gonna be for a 2-minute period. As we've done in the past, we're gonna use our first round to designate how much we are gonna do in the following rounds. So if I'm on a bike, and in that 2-minute period, I end up getting 40 calories on it. The 40 cal number is what I'm going to start aiming for in rounds 2 and 3. So you can customize this workout with whatever you have on hand. And as always, if you don't have any machines and you gotta run, it's gonna be a minute out and then a minute back. That first run that you go, you're gonna mark wherever you got to, because if you're going a minute out and a minute back each time, that distance is gonna get a little bit shorter each time. So let's try to find consistency in what we're asking our bodies to do each round. And if you do want to adjust that and only run a minute out, a minute back each round and make it a little bit shorter because running is something that's not a strong suit for you, you are more than welcome to, because that's how we get better. Always remember with these workouts, if your fitness level is right here, we want to customize the workout so that we're challenged right above that level. I'm not looking at throwing it way up here because I'm not trying to make you pass out or throw up. I want you to get better so you can come back tomorrow and attack that workout harder than you did today. Both of our athletes are going 400 meters on their runners. For this workout, this is replicating Helen, and since we don't necessarily have pull-up rigs at home, we're finding the best ways that we can substitute movements that will be a similar stimulus. So Shane's finished up with his run, and he's gonna go into alternating dumbbell snatch. With our alternating dumbbell snatch, it's gonna be one hand at a time. A free hand doesn't touch your body, making sure that we are getting our full extension at the top. Shane is the expert at transitioning in the air. If you haven't seen the reel, you need to check it out. But he is transitioning in the air. If you're not comfortable with switching in the air, you can always place the dumbbell on the ground between your feet and then switch over. We've got Clara doing a similar movement. It's her X jumps with a jump for today. And she's reaching down like she has a dumbbell, and then she's reaching up overhead, making that X with her body and coming off the floor any amount of clearance. So it can be an inch, it can be 2 inches, it can be 3 feet. But efficiency-wise, we are looking at leaving the ground momentarily and then going back down. We got Shane transitioning over into his crush grip bent over rows. Now with this movement, we got 12 reps here. It's very important whether you're doing the dumbbell or the band that we're pulling with our elbows, not with our hands. If you pull with your hands, you're gonna end up in that T-Rex position, and we really wanna focus on getting our shoulder blades retracted. I'm gonna have Clara lean over just a little bit more for me right there, and then pull through. If you need the cue, you imagine that somebody's fingers in the center of your back and you're trying to squeeze that with your shoulder blades. So really focus on the retraction there. If you're using a band and it's too difficult, then you can choke up on the band. If it's too easy, then we can grab lower on that band and apply a little bit more resistance. Both athletes are moving back to their run now. And with Helen, this is the type of workout that if you go too fast, too soon, you are gonna crash and burn. So we wanna think about whatever pace that we've established in round number 1, we need to try to be able to replicate that. So when we go through workouts that are gonna have round times without rest built in, you automatically know that that's gonna be one where we're going to try and stay consistent across those rounds. When we get into round number 3 on this workout, if we feel like we can push the pace at all, then that's where we can start to amp it up. But again, don't go too hard too soon, because if you do, you're gonna have a bad time. We wanna make sure that we are working on our pacing and consistency with a workout like today. And if you are new to CrossFit or functional fitness or just starting your fitness journey, learning how to internally pace with your body is one of the best skills as an athlete that you can learn. When we're working on our run and we're working on our snatches or our X jumps, focusing on breathing purposefully with that. Because when we get into a movement that's new for us or something we're uncomfortable with, the tendency is to breathe less and to start worrying about what we're doing. So I need you to think about pacing those movements off of your breathing. Every time that Shane is going up with that dumbbell, he's giving us an exhale to make sure that he's keeping that core activated and also helping give himself that internal governor for how fast, or if he needs to slow down, that he needs to go. So Shane is back into our alternating dumbbell snatches. We got Clara finishing up on her second run. Shane does a great job of making sure that he's getting open at the top in his shoulders, hips, and knees. If you're shortening that range of motion right now, I'm not calling anybody out right now, but make sure that you are getting full extension at the top, and both heads of your dumbbell need to touch the ground when you get down to the floor. We got Clara right on Shane's tail, going into these X jumps, no jump. I am gonna have Clara push her hips back a little bit more when she goes down, because I wanna do less of a hinge there and replicate if we were lowering a weight down to the floor. We're not gonna do that if we got a 50-pound dumbbell, because that's the weight that Clara normally uses in the workouts. So we wanna think about loading the legs up more as we go down versus just bending straight over. Get those hips a little bit lower for me, Clara, when you go down. There you go, that's it. That's what I wanna see every single rep. Shane is back onto his crush grip, bent over rows. This man needs I'm gonna give you a 70 on this next round. I'm gonna grab a heavier weight in just a second because he can handle it. So we've got Clara back onto her bent over rows here. She made the correction. She's got herself bent over just a little bit more, and we're focusing on pulling back with those elbows, not with those hands. So think about bringing those hands closer to your waist when you come back, Clara, versus your chest. So hands come back, there we go. That's the correction that I wanna see. So if we're pulling up and we feel those hands coming up to our chest, we want to reposition and come back here so that we can get more activation into our back. Because again, this is the closest movement to a pull-up that we can replicate without having a rig. So we want to try to activate those same muscles that we would be using for the pull-up. Shane and Clara are both on to their final round. Now I'm gonna let Shane do his dumbbell snatches at 35s. He did a lot of deadlifts yesterday. I witnessed it. It was very impressive, but he's gonna get a heavier dumbbell for his bent over crush grip. Both athletes are keeping the same pacing on this run that we had in rounds 1 and 2. Shane has his heavier crush grip dumbbell. All is right with the world now. Now again, don't feel like you need to go up in weight just because Shane's going up in weight. What we're doing is that if we get into a workout and we find that we've gone too heavy or that we've gone too light, it's okay to make a modification mid-workout, but don't do it just because somebody else is doing it. You only need to focus on your own performance. And in an instance like this is a newer movement. We haven't done the crush grip bent over rows, so we weren't sure how that would play. So with Shane, Shane is very strong. He won't admit it. But what we're doing is that we're gonna increase that weight for him to match the stimulus that we're looking for, because he's flying through those 35-pound dumbbell bent over crush grip rows. We're back onto our alternating dumbbell snatch. Clara is finishing up her final run, and this is the last round for our athletes. Wherever you guys are at in this workout, don't panic. If you're still finishing up round number 2 right now, that is okay. You stay with your own pace here. Focus on that consistency that you established in round number 1, and we want to see that in rounds 2 and 3. We got Shane finishing up these alternating dumbbell snatches, doing a great job of loading his hips in the bottom, hitting full extension, and he is breathing with each rep. You're gonna get annoyed if this is your first time doing class with me that I always talk about breathing, but it is the number one thing. I would arguably say it's the thing that's keeping you alive right now. So we wanna try to keep doing that while we're working out. Shane places the dumbbell on the ground and he moves to his heavier dumbbell for our crush grip rows. We got Clara going into her X jumps with the jump at the top, doing a better job of loading her hips versus just bending over into that position. We want to make sure we're keeping ourselves in good positions as we're moving, even when we crank that intensity up. And Shane is done. Handled the 50 like it was nothing. Great job, Shane. We got Clara finishing up and moving to her band, and then she's into her banded bent over rows. If the band gets too difficult for you and you want to switch over to those row and reaches that we did in the warm-up, that is fine to substitute as well. The cues there when we're going through, we're making sure those hands are coming back towards our hips, not up towards our chest, and we're squeezing those shoulder blades at the top. Bring them back towards your hips a little bit more for me, Clara. There you go. And she is at the end of these 12 reps, and that is it. Shane, great job. Clara, great job. If you guys are still going at home, please, please, please finish up all of those reps. Again, today's workout is about consistency, and we saw that with our athletes here. We saw that with you guys. And make sure you stick around because the cool down is coming up next. Athletes, great job once again on the fitness that you guys brought today. We loved the efforts that we saw. Now, if you're not a part of the Mayhem Athlete community, I gotta ask you a question. Do you wanna be a better version of yourself tomorrow? Do you possibly wanna compete? If you have no interest in competing, do you just wanna be able to handle what life throws at you a little bit better than the day before? Well, I've got the answer for you, and it's the Mayhem Athlete community. The Mayhem Athlete community is a group of like-minded athletes, and if you did the workout today, you're already an athlete, so don't try to discredit yourself, of people that are going to encourage you along the way to your goals, whether you're just looking at being a little bit fitter each day or taking the competition floor at the CrossFit Games. You'll find people like Shane and people like Clara that will help you have a good time, but push you towards your goals. Now, if you haven't joined us today, start that 7-day free trial, and we will see you at the next workout. Now, this is the time that I get really, really serious. If you haven't been here before, I'm gonna talk about your cool down, which is listed here. I know it's super easy to skip over this because you got stuff you need to do, but your body just took care of you, so please take care of your body and hit that cool down. Most importantly, be good, be kind, and join us again for another great day of fitness.